Wall Street veteran Bernard Madoff has been arrested and charged with running a $50 billion Ponzi scheme.
Congress wants to know what caused the Enron meltdown.
Now, while the collective rage currently is focused on WorldCom,
Tyco CEO Dennis Kozlowski was convicted of looting hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is one of the biggest fraud cases ever.
Their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Find out more on this week's episode of White Collars, Red Hands.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's all extremely alluring. The Music Network reported that heavy metal music is one of the fastest growing genres in the world. It is noted that there is at least one heavy metal band in 145 countries. Today's story is focused on Tim Lambesis, the vocalist for As I Lay Dying, the heavy metal sensation that rocked our country and our ears for over a decade. However, the glitz and glamour of fame often shadows the difference between right and wrong. With expectations and distractions welling up around him, Lambesis almost committed the ultimate crime. Did he succeed? What did he do? Find out on this week's episode of White Collars, Red Hands.
Got Tim
Lambesis. Yep.
It's a weird name.
I didn't name him. I didn't come up with it. It's not my last name.
Thank God. Also, As I Lay Dying, it's taken a long time, huh? A decade?
I know.
A decade?
Know, my grandfather had a stroke one time, and he fell on the floor.
Okay.
And he was like, this is it. And he just closed his eyes. And then he was there for like 10 minutes, and he was like, oh, shit, I better call somebody. Maybe I'm not going to die.
Wow, what bravery in the face of death, though. Just be like, all right, here it is.
Welcome to another episode of White Collars, Red Hands. He is...
I'm Kashan.
And I'm Nina Kern. This week's episode is going to be a little bit lighter than last week's episode.
Yeah, thank God. I've been running around everyone I interact with. I'm like, hey, you ever eat a Crunch Bar? And then I'm like, you're awful when they say yes. Because obviously they've eaten a Crunch Bar. We couldn't avoid them.
I love them.
I ate them when I was a kid. Yeah, Halloween, they gave them out. I couldn't avoid it. All right.
I like the bunch of crunches in the bag.
I know.
They look like little pieces of poop.
You know what? No, I'm tired of them just crumbling up candy bars and throwing it in a bag and calling it a new product. All right? I know that it's just all the fucked up pieces off the line that they throw into a bag and then sell to me for a premium. And it's not that much more convenient that it comes in a bag. I don't get it.
I like it.
But why?
Because no ripping off the wrapper, easy access.
I mean, I guess. I feel like you're opening a bag and slamming the whole thing. Like, you're the person that's like, when you get the last pieces of chips at the bottom of the bag, you're just...
Yeah, of course I am.
Just dumping the whole thing in your mouth.
That is me. You know that's me.
Yeah. I've seen you around a mozzarella stick.
An order of French fries, anything.
This is my favorite running joke of this podcast, is the mozzarella sticks.
I haven't had mozzarella sticks in like 6 months.
It's more like 6 minutes. Am I right? Am I right, everyone at home? All right.
No one believes you. They believe me.
As I Lay Dying. That's what Nina's going to say after she eats
another mozzarella stick.
Yeah, one more mozzarella stick. It's going to put the nail in the coffin.
So let's go dive in to today's episode. Tim Lambesis. All right. Tim Lambesis was born on November 21st, 1980 in Scottsdale, Arizona.
I'm from Arizona.
Are you from Scottsdale?
Fuck no.
For some reason, a lot of bachelorette parties going there recently.
I don't know. It's the.
Is it fun?
No, of course not. It's Arizona. It's the valley in Arizona, like around Phoenix. That place sucks.
Are there a lot of bars? Like, why are we going there?
I mean, there's as many bars as there are in any larger city. It's not fun though.
All right.
It's hot and boring.
That's how I'm described usually.
You're one of those.
It's just boring. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Anyways. Even though he was born in Scottsdale, Lambesis grew up in Southern California. And while he was in school, he was voted most like Jesus by his classmates.
It's just the long hair, I think.
I don't even know if he had long hair.
Also,
it was a Christian school.
I'm about to say, what kind of high school has a superlative that's most like Jesus?
This one.
That's awful. Yeah, man, he walked into the gym one day and flipped over all the tables and started whipping people. Most like Jesus. Give it to him.
Yeah, they didn't say how he was most like Jesus. Maybe he was just trying to like have sex with all the prostitutes.
They just give it to the kid that
Sex
died.
workers. Sorry. What? Jesus was out here trying to get with Mary Magdalene.
Oh, I thought you were talking about how I said they just give it to the guy who died.
No, I was talking about Jesus.
Jesus died.
He did. I know.
Famously. I don't know if you know that.
I get your joke now.
Thank you.
All right. Funny guy. That's why we do a podcast together. Okay. So Lambesis grew up very religious and was a devout Christian, and he does kind of cling on to his religion throughout his entire life. He ended up attending Liberty University and majored in religious studies.
Oh, God.
I'm not making this up. Not making this city up. Liberty University is located in Lynchburg, Virginia. Funny enough, the Jack Daniels Distillery is also located in Lynchburg, Lynchburg, Tennessee.
The only reason I know where that Lynchburg is a name of a town.
Yep. But Liberty is it's like an extremely conservative school. I knew a couple people who went there. Out of my circle of friends or, from high school. Their former president, Jerry Falwell Jr., actually just got into like major trouble for a sexual harassment, sexual malpractice. I don't know. He did bad things. But
not for our podcast. Someone else can cover that story.
That school could be a 3-part podcast in and of itself, but he went there. I don't think he graduated though, from what I was finding. A little more backstory on him. He is also a bodybuilder and he doesn't look good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
he's hot.
We hardly ever agree. We both agree that he's a pretty good looking man.
Yeah. He kind of looks like whitewashed Jason Momoa.
You know what? Yeah, I can see that. Thor with tattoos is also another one I see. He's got long blonde hair. Yeah. Or he's blonde in some pictures.
Blonde brown.
He's got the same beard. He's really ripped. He's got those, he's got the cum gutters, the V that goes down.
He does.
That angles towards the peen.
Yeah, nice sex lines.
He's got all that, so.
He's got abs that I would lick butter off of.
She said that exact statement before, so yeah. You say it twice, it's truth.
Yep. He did get married to a woman named Megan Murphy in 2004. She's Megan with 2 G's, which is really odd. But anyways, and then they actually adopted 3 children from Ethiopia. So what makes this man famous? Why are we talking about him? So Lambesis is the founder of the metalcore band As I Lay Dying. They got the name from a book that is also called As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. But don't worry, they did not read the book.
Oh, Grace.
From what I can tell, they have never read the book. And they just thought it sounded cool and that it would fit well with their sound.
Guys, I got a great new band name. Let's call ourselves the Grapes of Wrath, man. Isn't that name metal as fuck, dude?
Bro. What if we named the book Charlotte's Web?
Oh my God. What's up, Virginia? We are Charlotte's Web. That's like 100 years from now, someone's naming their stupid ass fucking electronica band, because that's all the future's going to have, Charlotte's Web, because they're not going to know that it was a stupid book.
Oh, what about Where the Red Fern Grows?
Of course, As I Lay Dying might be a good book. I haven't read it either, I can't really talk shit.
But yeah, Lambesis said in this interview that I watched that his friend who was formerly in the band was on Spark Notes, and it suggested As I Lay Dying to him, and he was like, hell yeah, that's going to be our band name. And it was.
They put the same amount of effort into this band name that an underachieving 5th grader puts into their book report, which is great.
To be fair, Post Malone also did not put a lot of thought into his stage name.
Yeah, but his name's just dumb. It's fine. It's dumb. Pop stars can have dumb names.
Yeah.
Metal bands are supposed to have fucking dope names.
Well,
right?
As I Lay Dying is pretty cool.
They could have just said, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Don't talk about the book if you never read it.
Well,
whatever.
Yeah, no. It's kind of like the equivalent of wearing a band t-shirt when you don't listen to that band.
Oh, I thought you were wearing I was looking at your t-shirt being like, what band is this? It's just a NASA t-shirt.
No, it's just a Space Shuttle shirt. It says reach for the new heights.
I bet you don't even listen to Space Shuttle name 7 of their songs.
Some people do say that As I Lay Dying is a Christian band. However, they are described as metalcore. Not even like, yeah, I don't know what the difference between metal and metalcore is.
There's a bunch of different kinds. I like metal, but there's a bunch of different kinds of metal, and I don't know either. So
Yeah, there's like silver, gold, platinum, titanium.
that's a me joke, which means that's fucking stupid.
But anyway, they're described as metalcore, but Lambesis has said himself that they're not a Christian band, but rather Christians in a band.
Great.
Yeah. Now, I have heard of this band, but before doing the podcast, I could not tell you a single song. This type of music gives me a headache.
It sounds a lot like just kind of that.
I hate that shit. It drives me nuts. But some of their popular songs, or most popular songs, include Through Struggle, Nothing Left, Beneath the Encasing of Ashes, My Own Grave, and more.
Those kind of sound a little bit like Christian rock titles. A little bit.
I don't know. He says that they talk about life.
At least it's not, I mean, it's better than like Cannibal Corpse song names like fucking Corpse Fuck or something. I don't know.
My.
Their names are like that though. They're like,
oh, wow. You really got something to prove when you...
Or like Masturbation Evisceration or something. That sounds like it's probably one of the names of their songs. And people like this band.
I know. I've heard of them.
So,
I don't know. I am not a metal fan.
I like metal. I don't like that kind of metal.
No, thank you. The band was completely formed, like they were having a lot of in and out, but they like were solid in 2001. The band has 7 albums, 1 split album. So when it talks about a split album, this is an album that has tracks by 2 or more separate artists.
What? I didn't even know they made those.
I didn't know until today. I had to look it up.
It's like a bargain bin CD. That's what that's
kind of.
That's what it sounds like to me. They just combine 2 bands together.
Yes. 2 compilation albums, and that's an album that has multiple artists on it, but it can also include other genres. So I was kind of like, it sounds like Kids Bop.
Dude, Kids Bop should do a cover of My Own Grave. Is there someone I can petition to get that done?
I'm sure you can.
I'm writing letters to Kids Bop from now on every day. They're receiving a letter from me and be like, please do My Own Grave. I need a Kids Bop version of it.
I'm not going to lie. The music videos aren't as bad as you would think they would be.
For Kids Bop?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was the actual answer. I thought I was making a joke. No, you got to be wrong on that. I can't.
No, I've had to watch them. It's cool.
No, I can't.
Because like we'll put on Kids Bop for the kids to listen to because we know it's not going to be bad, and then the music video will play, and I'm like, it's not as bad as you'd think. It's not good. I'm not going to like spend my free time watching Kids Bop music videos.
Really? Because it kind of sounds like you spend your free time watching Kids Bop videos. It's
better than Coco Melon. Dude, that shit's a form of birth control. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Anyways, this is a form of birth control too, because if my son came out of the womb screaming like that, after birth abortion.
Give me milk.
Titty, 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 titty.
And you're like, oh shit.
Sids won't get me.
Oh. Woof. Hope there's no babies listening because that was an offensive joke to babies.
Yeah.
We're going to get so many comments from babies. Oh, it's going to be rough.
I already have so many people mad at me on
TikTok. So many baby emails just like goo goo goo, goo goo ga ga ga, signed goo goo ga 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 baby.
Boss baby.
It's going to be rough.
Their 4th studio album did hit number 8 on the Billboard Top 200 and number 1 on the Top Rock chart.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. They've played lots of different festivals, including Warped Tour, Soundwave Festival, and Bloodstock Open Air. They've played other ones too, but like you can Google it if you really want to know. Doesn't have anything to do with story. They won the Ultimate Metal God Award on the MTV2 on the All That Rocks special. It's a lot right there. But they won this award from MTV.
Oh man, I'd love to see the ratings on MTV2's All That Rocks special.
They won it.
Love to see the Nielsen report on that one.
They won it. They were also named Artist of the Year from 2005 to 2007 at the San Diego Music Awards, and they were nominated again in 2008. Their last studio, they're like of the complete formed band, was released on September 25th, 2012, before the band went on their indefinite hiatus. in an interview, which everywhere I was reading said indefinite hiatus, but we'll get to that more later. In an interview, Lambesis stated that he felt extremely grateful for how successful the band was, despite being in a genre that isn't super popular, especially at that time. Like, when I was like, oh, the Music Network states that this is the fastest growing genre, that was in 2019. They were doing all this in the early 2000s, so it really wasn't as popular.
I guess for me it's weird because I got into metal in like 2011. I was in middle school basically when I started listening to metal. So
I don't know. I've never listened to metal.
Metal's been around for a while though. I mean, obviously Metallica, Slayer.
Yeah. It is a very niche genre though.
Yeah, I guess
it's not like pop or rap or stuff like that. It's a little more niche. So he did state, and that's one thing I did like about him. Like, we're gonna get into the shitty stuff he did, but one thing I really did like about him, although we'll get into the shitty stuff he did, was that he is really grateful for his success, and they did work hard to get to where they were at. So I'm like, okay, well, I can respect you there. But he even said that he never expected to reach the level of success that they reached, and never expected to be able to live an affluent lifestyle with metal music. He was like, it's almost unheard of. And I was like, that sucks. But I'm glad you were able to do it. Even though, and you'll find out, the band does dissolve after 2012. It does continue on just without Lambesis, and it was under a different name called Woven War. I don't know what book they got that one from.
They were just, it was someone's fucking username on Reddit.
I'm sure.
They were like, oh, Woven War's a dope name.
But I said they took a hiatus. So why did they take a hiatus? And why are we even talking about the band?
Oh, because this is now a heavy metal podcast. We've rotated.
Oh, God.
We know it's what you wanted. And we know we'll get less baby emails, honestly, is what we want. We're tired of all the hate from babies, so we're switching it up.
Could you imagine if we were a heavy metal podcast?
No, you know nothing about heavy metal. Just kind of like how you didn't know anything about white collar crime.
I would rather talk about white collar crime. Well, I enjoy talking about white collar crime, but like, woof, heavy. No, I would not. Anyways, this is like if I made you do a podcast about
Sephora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say bras, but I feel like you'd like that.
I know more about bras than you might think.
I know you do. One time, Kashan guessed my bra size.
100% accurate.
And it was accurate, and I didn't like it.
Well, what can I say? I'm clairvoyant.
Breast a sewer. Titty sewer.
None of these are working.
It's like a connoisseur.
No, I get it. Like, I get what you were going for. I'm saying it's not working.
A breastalist. Oh, no, that one really doesn't work. It's like specialist fit breast. Anyways, continued. Tim Lambesis. Well, Tim Lambesis, although he was very successful in his career, his marriage, not so much. Lambesis and his wife Megan definitely had ups and downs, like every couple does. Like I said earlier, they had gotten married in 2004, adopted the 3 kids from Ethiopia. But as a musician, or any type of artist, not musical artist, but comedy and dancing, etc. When you are a touring artist, you really do have a very demanding schedule. You have a very kind of inflexible schedule, and it's not an ideal schedule for anyone who is in a partnership with you, to be honest. You are constantly out of the house, and it's hard when you're not physically there to maintain a relationship. It takes a lot of work.
Long distance doesn't work forever.
Not forever, no.
Small snippets.
Yeah. But, the tour schedule definitely put a strain on he and Megan's relationship. And it was also noted that when Lambesis was home, that he spent too much time at the gym bodybuilding. He did used to be really skinny, and then he really transformed his body, and now he looks like Jason Momoa. Lambesis does note that Megan was very resentful of his musical success, as well as being resentful for him getting into better shape.
It sounds like a bad relationship.
Yeah, it was a bad. I think it was.
You're just with someone who's like, I hate that you're bettering yourself. I hate that you're doing well.
Well,
I hate that for me specifically because you're doing well.
Well, we weren't there. And I do think when he's like, she resented these things, it was like, well, okay, maybe, he's finally home. Let's go spend time. No, I have to go to the gym. But, I don't know Lambesis, but I do know when you're in a partnership and when you're putting other things above your family, and it's hard because, you're making all this money as a musician, doing what you love. There's expectations, but now you also have given your family a certain kind of lifestyle, but you need to continue that. But then the home life suffers. It's hard to juggle all these things, and it does make sense that when he is putting his career above his family, that his partner becomes resentful of that. That makes sense to me.
Yes. That could be it. But if it's just the success, I think
that is what was happening. But from his lens at that point in time, he was like, well, she's just mad that I'm successful. And it's like, I don't know. There's not a lot from her anywhere. Mm-hmm. I think she chose to not talk about it. Mm-hmm. He does say that he put more into his music career than his marriage because he found it more fulfilling. And during this time, Lambesis also started taking steroids to achieve his fitness goals.
So that's how he got so big from being so skinny.
Yep. Yeah, he started taking steroids.
It looks like the before and after pictures are shocking.
Yeah, they are. He looks like a totally different human.
Yeah.
He probably weighed, in that first picture, he might have weighed 145?
Maybe.
And then he's 225, 230 of just solid ripped muscle.
100% yoked. It's bad.
And he's really tall though too. I forget how tall he is, but he's very tall.
It's bad because it's steroids are bad, right?
Right.
Steroids are bad. But they did a lot for this man.
They did do a lot for him.
Unfortunately.
Would not fuck the before, would fuck the after.
Yikes.
You'd have
Life's unfair, dude.
What? For
all
him?
The bad stuff is just, sometimes it just does good things. So
what's so interesting was at this time, that steroids are bad for you. This isn't the 80s. He knows that they're bad for him. And
people know fucking fentanyl's bad for them. They do that shit too. I
guess. In 2012, Lambesis actually started having second thoughts about his faith. And he even made statements on his blog noting this. He and members of the band had lost faith. He wasn't the only one, but they still presented themselves as Christians in order to maintain popularity. This is just a side note in my own opinion. Them coming out as we are Christians in a band, just proclaiming their Christianity, I think really did have something to do with how popular they were. There are a lot of kids, and he even talked about this in an interview that I watched with him, but there's a very big lack. He was talking about being able to reach out to kids who are in a bubble. Mm-hmm. And a lot of kids who grow up in very conservative Christian backgrounds, they are unfortunately in a bubble. And from my own experience and watching my friends' experiences, there tended to be a lack of regulation. If the kids were oh, I want to listen to this metal band, their parents would be no. But as long as you said it was a Christian metal band, they'd be oh, okay. They wouldn't check it out. They just take the artist's word face value. And so I think that had a lot to do with their popularity. They were able to reach a bigger group of kids and bring them into the metal scene solely for the fact that they're Christian. And whether or not, because I knew people who listened to Christian rock music and I was I don't like this, but I don't even know if they liked it, but they listened to it because it was better than the other conservative or the other contemporary Christian music that was coming out.
God is an awesome God, he raised from heaven yeah, that shit's boring, bro. If the option was between that and this screamo version of heavy metal, I would also probably listen to the screamo version of heavy metal.
Yeah. I don't blame anybody.
I can't do it, bro.
But I will note, and this is why it's really hard. This episode has me very torn because what he did was really bad. And what he wanted to do was really, really bad. But I do think that deep down, he is a genuine person. Because he was saying in this interview that I watched that he and the band members really struggled when they lost their faith because they felt really guilty appealing to an audience that they no longer shared beliefs with. Yeah. And that they had to continue presenting themselves as though they
give that audience 10 years. They're not going
right.
to
But
either,
he said he felt bad about it because there'd be kids who would come up to him and be will you pray with me? Like, stuff like
shit.
that. And he was like, fuck, man, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's...
Like, I don't believe in this anymore.
I guess that's weird. I'd be like, ugh, no.
He said that if they wanted to pray with him, he would let them pray, and then he would stand there with them because he's like, I didn't want to take that experience, like meaningful experience away from them. He's like, but they did. There were a few times that like kids would ask him to pray for them, and he was like, hey, I don't pray out loud. I'll take it back with me to the bus and pray about it then. Which I was like, okay, at least he wasn't like, but I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
But in 2012, while on tour, Lambesis sent an email to his wife, Megan, telling her that he no longer loved her and that he cheated on her several times throughout their marriage, and also told her that he no longer believed in God. Yeah. An email, dude. They were married for like 8 years, and he sent her an email. I thought getting broken up with over text after a year was bad.
Dear Megan, I no longer love you. And also have cheated on you multiple times.
Megan, I don't love you.
Signed, Lambesis. P.S. I also don't believe in God no more.
That'd be a shitty email to get.
PP
You could call her.
P.P.S. You can take the kids. I don't want them.
Well, we're gonna get to that.
Oh no.
So the couple was obviously separated after that emails was sent. And when filing for divorce, Megan noted that Lambesis was neglectful of the family. She also included his obsession with a gym and claimed that he spent thousands of dollars on tattoos.
It looks like it.
And he is literally tatted from neck to like ankles. Like even his whole back is just tats. She also noted that he would become dangerously distracted when watching their children. I guess one time and I'm sure there were other things that happened as well, but one time he fell asleep while they were all in the pool when he was supposed to be watching them.
I feel like that probably happens to most parents. It's just that they wouldn't admit it publicly because it looks bad.
Yeah.
But your kid's like, you don't sleep when you got a kid? So
Never.
Sometimes I'm sure you can't help falling asleep. So I'm not gonna 100% fault him for that. But
yeah, I mean,
if he was like play with these swords, it'd be a little different.
I also don't know what the circumstance surrounding this was, but if he had been like fucked up and then fell asleep while they were in the pool.
Wait, does he do drugs too?
No, but I'm just saying if that was the scenario, under my impression, he did not I didn't gain that he did drugs, but you're going to find out some things later with a path that his life goes that I was like, maybe that wasn't talked about. But I mean, he was definitely doing steroids though. So
yeah.
Lambesis claims that Megan fabricated how much he spent on tattoos and that most of his tattoos were done for free because it was good for the tattoo artist to collaborate with someone who was already famous in order to promote their work. So that means if that's what you're like, she's lying. If that's the thing out of all the things that you're pretty shitty. You're being a shitty husband. He's like, I mean, I totally neglected the family, but the tattoos were free. I just thought it was funny. And so with all this going on, while Lambesis was at the gym one day, he asked his personal trainer, Brett Kimball, if there was anyone he knew who could kill his wife.
I don't think that's something you can just ask somebody.
It's not funny, but I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Hey, Brett. Hey, Brett. Hey,
like,
solid pump today. I just want to say, good job. Those curls, bro. Super on point. Hey, I wanted to ask you something. You know somebody who could kill my wife? Is that something you know? No? Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go to Jamba Juice?
So bad.
It's like, what the fuck, dude?
So I'm like, what kind of gym is this? This is not a Planet Fitness vibe. Like, this is not a Planet Fitness vibe.
Actually, it kind of is a Planet Fitness vibe. Someone like I could probably find a murder for hire person at a Planet Fitness. Honestly.
I feel like Export Fitness, yes.
Or maybe like 24-hour fitness.
Gold's Gym, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Any one of those people in there would kill your wife for a bump of cocaine and a shot of steroids and like a packet of creatine.
Absolutely.
They'll do it.
Planet Fitness is too purple. Okay.
You're right. Planet Fitness is too purple to have murder for hire happen in it.
I agree. That's what I think. That's what I think. But obviously this deeply disturbed Brett, and he wanted to have another conversation with Lambesis about this. And on April 24th, 2013, they had a meeting. Lambesis told him that Megan was making the divorce more difficult than it needed to be, and that she wasn't allowing him to see his kids. During this conversation, he claimed that it would be better for the kids to have one parent with a healthy relationship than having two parents with two unhealthy relationships. But he was the one who fell asleep while they were in the pool. And he's the one who's on tour all the time.
Yeah, just pack him into the bus.
I guess one time he wanted to take them on tour and she told him no. Which I will say, depending on their age, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with that.
I mean, she wants to come. I get it, though. If she's so upset that he's going on tour and he's not there for the kids, and then he's like, well, why don't you guys come with me? And then it's also no.
All of them are
then,
coming in.
Then it's a lose-lose situation.
Well,
you can't,
yes,
you can't do anything about that then.
Correct.
It's like, oh, so you just want me to give up all of my dreams then?
Correct.
You know?
No, I see.
Still don't ask someone to kill your wife.
Yeah. And then
but
this is the craziest part. When they were having this meeting, one of his girlfriend, that he was seeing throughout his marriage, she was present for the conversation, but they were like, oh, go inside. We'll meet you inside she went in the gym. And they were in the parking lot.
Of course, it was outside the gym again. Okay, maybe this guy does have a thing with the gym. If you all of your meetings happen at the gym.
Yeah, no, they do. He was weird about the gym.
All right.
And I think he still is weird about the gym.
I mean, the people who are that ripped probably have to be weird about the gym, to be very honest with you.
Yeah. But Kimball, his trainer, he got all this info and he turned it into the police, thank God. Once they gathered this information, Lambesis then met with an undercover cop who posed as a hitman named Red.
Terrible hitman name.
Stupid. They had to do that name. You want to know why they do that name?
Why?
Because in the second meeting, Brett Kimball was like, yeah, I have someone who could do it. And he's like, oh, who? And he's like, this guy named Red. And
he improv that?
Yes.
Oh, Brett, I'm sorry, man. You don't. If you were planning on going to UCB, I got some bad news for you.
It was bad.
I want to do it. The best name you can come up is Red. Just say Greg, dude. A hitman's a normal dude. Just be like, yeah, man, I got this guy named Greg. He kills people. Great. I'll call Greg up. But you got it.
So funny. And so then they had to stick with the name because they were like, you already gave us this shitty name. Ridiculous. So anyways, in the meeting, Lambesis told Red that he wanted his wife gone and to never see her again. Red then asked him if he wanted her dead, and he replied, yes, that's what I want.
It's like, no, I want you to kidnap her and take her to a Cayman Island. Yeah, fucking Red. You're a murder for hire, dude. What are you talking about? Of course I want her dead, you idiot.
Lambesis told Red that he wanted his wife murdered while he was with the children so that he would have an alibi. He then gave Red $1,000 cash, her address, the gate codes to get into her home, and the dates that he would have the children.
$1,000 is not a big enough down payment if you're actually paying someone to murder somebody.
I agree.
Here's the thing. I keep doing this a lot, but okay, murder for hire is not cool. It's not cool. You shouldn't murder for hire somebody. But if the person who you are getting to murder your wife asks only for $1,000, they aren't a real gun for hire. All right, it's at least a $20K kind of thing you're dealing with.
Well, that's
okay?
funny that you say $20K.
You gotta. It's more money. That's a down payment. It's got to be at least six figures, right? To actually buy an actual hitman, it's got to be a lot of money.
That's what I would think. Megan also noted in the trial that Lambesis was also acting weird and was asked before this and was asking her questions like, what are the kids' social security numbers and stuff like that.
Hey, so when are you going to be home alone and what windows do you stand next to?
Also, where are the kids' birth certificates?
Which knives in your house are the sharpest?
What time do you go to bed? Are you sure?
Are you would you hear someone breaking a window if you were asleep? Why are you asking me all these questions? Insurance?
I'm not gonna murder you. I'm not gonna murder you.
That's not why.
No. Lambesis told Red that he would give him $20,000 for the hit.
Oh, see?
So it was funny that you said that.
I'm pretty on.
So while they're having this meeting, Red recorded the entire conversation.
He's a cop.
Yeah. And on May 7th, 2013, Lambesis was arrested in Oceanside, California while shopping. Lambesis originally pleaded not guilty. I don't know how you're going to plead not guilty when you have an entire conversation with an undercover cop on recording.
Dead doesn't mean the same thing to me, guys. So when I said I wanted her dead,
joking.
I said I wanted her dead. Yeah, it was a prank. Did you see the camera? The camera? It was a prank.
Smile.
This is going on my YouTube.
Smile.
I can do
Candid
this.
Camera. Do you remember Candid Camera?
Yeah, unfortunately, the prank show from like the 1970s. Yeah.
That's what this was. Lambesis' lawyer claimed that Lambesis did this because he wasn't right in his head due to all the steroid use, and the steroids affected his thought process.
Great.
Lambesis' bail was set at $3 million, but then was lowered to $2 million.
Oh, only $2 million?
Yep.
Okay.
On May 30th, Lambesis was placed on bail and had to wear an ankle monitor and be placed under heavy travel restrictions. They did think that he was a threat and that he was also a flight risk. So that's why he got an ankle bracelet. He wasn't allowed to contact his wife or children during this time.
Wonder why.
Yeah. Obviously, after this, he received heavy criticism from his bandmates because of his actions. And I did kind of feel bad for the bandmates because people were asking them a lot of questions and stuff. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And they're like, dude, we don't know. Like, we didn't tell him to murder his wife. Like,
or maybe they did and they were trying to cover it up.
I don't think they did. Lambesis ended up being on house arrest for 1 year in 2013 and then was sent to a state prison in 2014. I think that this might have been because on February 25th, 2014, Lambesis changed his plea to guilty from non-guilty, and he received a 6-year sentence.
Okay, maybe it just always seems a little low, but that's like a little low, right? Like at least 10, right?
I think so.
You know, like at least 10, and then let him out after like 3.
3?
Like if you like, I understand that most of those sentences are symbolic, and everyone pretty much gets off early, and that's part of the process. But like, gotta get at least 10, right? 6 is just.
It feels like a slap in the face to only.
You tried to hire somebody to murder somebody.
You weren't a person that you were in.
At least 10.
They were in that relationship for 8 years.
Like
so your sentence is less than the marriage?
Like murder's 25 to life. So I say at least a third of that if you tried to get someone to do it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so at least 8 years. But whatever. That's just me.
While in prison in 2016, Lambesis filed a lawsuit against 2 Southern California detention centers for neglect because he had been denied medicine that was supposed to help him with the side effects of steroid withdrawals.
The only problem was that it was more steroids. He's just like, you got to get me. It helps with the steroid withdrawals. Just give me a little juice, baby. Just give me a little juice. I'll let you inject it. Come on.
According to the lawsuit, the denial of medication caused him to develop breast tissue, and that he went in under a lot of distress because of that.
Make him popular in prison.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, come on. Not only are you going to be popular in prison, but you also now have a titty to hold on to while you sleep.
That's fair. If you got gynecomastia, you can probably jerking off is probably a lot easier in prison because you can just grab your own tit.
Yep. Twist your own nipple a little bit.
Wow, that's a Nina thing I just said. I'm
You
sorry.
did.
I'm sorry I did that.
I am not. I loved it. I loved that joke. His request for punitive damages of $35 million was denied, but the negligence hasn't been tried yet.
Oh.
So we don't know.
It's been 6 years.
Yeah, I think they're like, we don't care. We have bigger fish to fry.
As you get for the court systems in America.
Yep. Don't worry though. After a year in prison, Lambesis decided to recommit his life to Christ. And then 2 years after he went to prison, Lambesis was released on parole. So he only served 2 of his 6 years in prison. He says that this actually counts as like 4 or 5 years because he was on house arrest for 1 year, 2 in actual prison, and then 1 on parole.
The 2 years in prison, I count. But the 1 year house arrest, like, come on, man. You were at home.
Well, in your 1 year of parole, come on. You're also out.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
I don't think it counts.
You can add the 2. I'll give you the 2. So I guess 4. But you don't get more than that.
Well, and here's the thing, too. You already deserved more than 6.
Yeah.
And now you're only serving 2? Come on. And like...
Yeah, so getting out with even 4 or 5 is like
Right.
You still got off early then.
Right. And like, here's the thing. He only got caught because he talked to the wrong person. What if he had talked to the right person?
Yeah.
We'd be having a totally different episode right now.
Yeah, which
we'd have it as the season finale. Like, this would have been a murder. This would be totally different. Like,
once again, just don't ask your personal trainer if he knows someone that can kill your wife. That's a bad place to go.
well, right. But the other thing, too, that's really frustrating is this all happened in California. And there are people, like, they had that 3 to life thing. You know what I'm talking about? That law?
The 3 strikes law.
The 3 strikes law where, you know, you fuck up 3 times.
3 felonies.
3 felonies,
life.
and then you get life in prison. But, like, those felonies could be drug charges.
Yeah.
They could be nonviolent felonies. Like, you've got people in jail in California as we speak who are serving life sentences for weed.
In California, which, I mean, if there was a state associated with weed,
yeah,
it's California.
Well, it's just ridiculous. You have these people serving life sentences for nonviolent crimes, and then this man gets out in 2 years because he tries to kill his wife.
Hey, it was nonviolent. It was just attempted violence.
I suppose you're correct. I stand corrected. I'm still annoyed.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Stand corrected, still annoyed.
This guy, I mean, I am happy that he was dumb enough that he could not pull it off.
Same.
So.
Well, while in prison, he did focus on getting an undergraduate degree and is trained to be an addiction counselor. And he is a licensed addiction counselor. So.
What was his degree in? Do we know?
No. Well, he just focused on getting the degree.
Oh.
I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he got the addiction counseling certificate.
Oh, well.
So.
All right.
There we go. I will say that in an interview that I watched, I don't know him, you know, but he does seem to be genuine in changing his ways. Because there's some of these guys that we watch interviews with them after they did what they did, and they talk about what they did, and they're like, yeah, I feel really bad.
Barry Minkow is a really good one of that, where he was he was a shithead. He said that he wasn't a shithead anymore, and he was still a total fucking shithead. You could
just tell he's still a shithead.
Yeah.
This guy does seem to have reformed himself. He does seem genuinely sorry. He has, if what he is saying is true, he has really worked on himself. He's gotten to a lot of therapy. You know, he's trying to help other people by being an addiction counselor. It doesn't seem, you know, he's not like some of these people who steal a lot of money from underprivileged people. It does seem like he is genuinely trying to help other people. And he does correlate. He is also speaks about prison advocacy. Like, you know, these people are in here because of trauma. These people are not bad people. You know, if you give them the resources that they need. He's speaking about this in the interview. And so it's like, all right, maybe you know, what you did was really bad. This is where I feel this tug of war with him. I'm like, again, I don't know him, but I'm like, you don't seem to be that horrible at this point.
Yeah.
You seem to have had a change, but what you were gonna do was really horrible.
I'm about to say, I do believe people can change. And I do believe that, I mean, going through a divorce is you're probably not in your best mental state.
You're not in your best mental
During
state.
that.
You do have a schedule which is extremely demanding. You know, you're tired all the time.
Yeah,
it's not an excuse.
He definitely thought about this a lot, though. Like saying, like, if it stopped at him just asking his buddy, like, you know, someone can kill my wife.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing, because it's like, you had an awful thought. So awful that you thought about asking a friend if it could get done. But then, like, saying, I'm going to take the kids and, like, actually having the conversation with the person and stuff, that's going through with it, obviously, a little bit too much. But I mean, I don't think that makes you a bad person for forever. Honestly, I think a lot of the people that go into prisons for stuff like this are less bad than some of the people we talk about sometimes, because they are the products of an unfortunate circumstance, whereas the people who steal for greed do it for no real reason.
No, and like he was even talking about, you know, like he was like, my parents were really great parents, but he did have someone who abused, it wasn't his parents, but he had someone else who abused him in his childhood, and like, you know, he never dealt with that. And
yeah, and like, but this is like, it's a crime of passion. Like he was, you know,
right,
you were
and
upset, you did something that you regretted because you were upset, whereas like the people who like commit accounting fraud do it because they're like,
no,
they're
correct.
like, I fucking want more money, and I don't care
who
I don't care who it fucks over. I just want more money.
No, right. He also said something like how he hates that he's defined by his worst day.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the age of the internet, that is what everyone does. I mean, Nina the other day tweeted, "What are the 2 girls 1 cup girls doing now?" And you think they don't want to get over that? They don't want to be defined by all the shit they ate in that one video?
Okay, so from what I'm reading, I did look them up, and I think one of them died.
I mean, they did eat a lot of shit
from dysentery like 3 days later.
What?
Yeah.
That can't be real.
Well, I didn't think
that
it was
has
real.
to be a fake.
I didn't think it was
story.
real. I thought it was fake too. Like I started laughing, but then I like clicked on some other stuff, and it was like in more than one article.
No.
I don't know.
Even if that's true, I refuse to believe it. That can't be part of the real life canon to me. That can't be part of it. I will break. So.
I do wonder what they're up to though.
Well, I think they don't want anyone to talk to them about it. If they
probably not. No, probably not. But you know, even though he had some really bad things happen to him and he went into prison, don't worry, because just like a bunch of other felons we talk about, Tim Lambesis was able to get married while in prison, while I sit here single.
Well, he's still hot, so he's still got that going for him.
He did marry Amanda, who was in the gym while he was talking about murdering people.
Oh, see? They were meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So he and Amanda were married in 2015. She was a model while he was still in prison. They did get divorced. They did split. It's not clear on why they split, but they're no longer together. After he was released from prison, As I Lay Dying had a huge meeting, which was put up on their YouTube channel, where the band aired out all their issues, and that the bandmates had said that they saw an actual change in Lambesis.
They reformed. They got back together.
They ended up getting back together.
Oh my God.
The band released an album named Shaped by Fire in 2019. But even though they were reunited, they did dissolve yet again.
All right, there it is.
And then by 2022, it seemed, from what I understand, like it's completely no more. There was a lot of change in bandmates in those 3 years.
Oh.
And then it was like just Lambesis. And I think that it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, but he's the lead vocalist, right?
Yeah.
I hate to say it because musicians are important to a band, but it is kind of like no one else can really be the vocalist. So sometimes bands can just be the vocalist.
He's the front. You know what I mean? He's who people see. He's unfortunately, I mean, it's not unfortunate, but
it's like,
all parts are very important, but he's the face of the band.
It's like, who knows any of the names of the Four Seasons, right? But I know who Frankie Valli is.
Well, but it's also like seeing a play. Like you see the actors, but you don't see who did the lighting design, who did the costume design. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
In 2020, Lambesis actually caught himself on fire and burned 30% of his body. He did note to fans that his man parts were not affected by the fire.
Great. Hey guys, I know everyone at home is wondering if my dick is okay, and I just want to let you know, yeah, my dick is fine.
No pubes singed.
It was too small to burn. That's what the doctor said. That was the medical terminology they used. Too small to burn.
Little peen energy. It happened because he was making a fire and he was using an accelerant to make the fire, but instead of like putting a couple drips, the cap came off and spilled all over his clothes. And then the can ended up exploding, and then the whole left side of his body caught on fire.
I'm starting to think this guy's kind of stupid.
Well, I think he kind of is. And then he was in the ICU. And then after, like, he was a little bit better, he was not even able to lift a 15-pound dumbbell for a while.
It's because of the steroids he stopped taking.
Yeah, probably. Lambesis says this was the most painful experience that he ever had, and I 100% believe him.
I don't think he would have to say that. I think we could just.
He was like,
we could just know, kind of be like, yeah, that sounds
painful. He was talking about it in this interview, and he was like, yeah, my threshold for pain is a lot higher now. He's like, what I used to think was a 10 is a 4 now. And I'm like, yeah, dude, your whole body caught on fire.
Hey. Only 30%.
Okay, sorry. You're right. You're right.
Don't spread lies.
And even though he didn't get the jail time he deserved, maybe this is the karma that he got for trying to kill his ex-wife.
All right, yeah, we could wipe him clean. He's good. He got lit on fire. It's fine now.
Yeah. Although it's sad that he burned his body, Lambesis did recently get married again for a third time to model Danny Sierra on June 4th of this year.
It's like a month ago.
Yeah. They literally got married a month ago.
All right.
On the beach. I don't know, but yeah, they got married a month ago on the beach. That's actually how I know about this, because somebody posted an article on it on Facebook and they were like, how do you marry a guy that tried to kill his ex-wife? And I was like, I mean, that's fair.
But he's different. I can change him.
He ain't a pair of poopy drawers, girl. You're not going to change him. Not going to change him. I've said it a couple times in this episode. I don't really know how I feel about all this, but it does kind of seem like justice was served, and it does kind of seem like he changed. So that's cool.
Yeah, like I said, he lit himself on fire. I actually do give him a pass.
All right. Well, with all that being said, Tim Lambesis, a man who let fame, fortune, and vanity overcome his senses to make him commit to almost commit the ultimate crime.
Yeah, making someone else kill your wife for you. Be a man. Do it yourself.
To say that Lambesis is changed is not completely clear. However, stories like this do not normally have a happy ending. Thankfully, his wife was not murdered and is still alive today. Unfortunately, for many women, this type of story does not have a happy ending. In 2020 alone, 47,000 women and girls were killed by an intimate partner or someone in the home. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, please call 800-799-7233. I'm going to say that one more time because I said it pretty fast. 800-799-7233. And if you're struggling with addiction, because he did struggle with addiction to steroids, please call 1-800-622-HELP. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode.
I thought you said this was the palate cleanser and it ended with a fucking hotline for domestic abuse, Nina.
I forgot that I did that.
You're such a liar, man. You were like, today's a fun episode. It's a fun little palate cleanser from all the baby killing we talked about last week. And you're like, yeah, fucking 47,000 women last year were murdered by people at home. I'm like, oh, goddamn. My palate is you can't cleanse a pallet of piss with shit. All right, it's just worse.
Sorry, I forgot that I did that. It's important to make sure people are aware. Sorry.
It's fine.
Hey, 98% of the episode is fun.
Yeah.
And lighthearted.
Yeah.
As it can be.
Yeah.
So if you liked the first 98% of the episode, give us a follow on our socials. We're on Facebook.com/WhiteCollarsRedHands. We're on Twitter at WhiteCollarsPod. We're on Instagram at WhiteCollars_RedHands. We are also on YouTube on Entertainment Buffet. We put our episodes up there. It's a fun little way to watch us. We get a little bit of money from the ads because, as much as we love doing this, it would be cool to get paid for it. It's the truth. If you are interested in also supporting, another free way to support us is by buying our merch. If you go to our website, whitecollarsredhands.com, there is a little spot where you can click on the merch and it'll take you to TeePublic and you can buy whatever you want. It's great. Another way that you can support us is if you hear about a white collar crime and think it'd be cool if we covered it. To suggest that, you can do that through our website or by DMing us on our socials. And, that would be the unfree way to support us, is the merch.
Yeah, the merch isn't free. Just in case
I forgot. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, but another free way to support us is by rating us on either Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. The better our rating is, the more we get thrown into people's algorithms and suggested to people, and that's how people find out about us. Another way that people can find out about us is if you like us And people are like, oh, I'm going on a road trip and I'd love to listen to a podcast. Are there any podcasts that you like to listen to? You can suggest us. Suggest us to your friends. Suggestions are great. And I think that might be it.
Well, also, if you're a baby who's upset at us, or someone who has gynecomastia that wants to say that I was insensitive for doing that joke, or if you want to submit a suggestion for an episode, you can also send that to our email, whitecollarsredhands@gmail.com. So go ahead and do that. I think that's it.
Now that's it. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on another episode of White Collars,
Red Hands.